9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. Liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Roger, Tower.
Welcome to the Alien Probe Podcast. I'm Doug. It's Saturday, May 25th, 2024. Joining me today is the group. Korey, Brent, Elder, Matt. The camera's right over there if anybody wants to know where. We're discussing general topics, and apparently the traffic in Sacramento has become
it's
something
horrible.
that's a thing now. So we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I kind of wrote some things down on the board where where do we think these things come, or what are the UFOs? Are they us? Are they, extraterrestrials? Korey and I have differing opinions on it. Are they extraterrestrials? Are they us from the future? Elder, what do you think? What are they?
Are we going to introductions? No introduction?
What's that?
No introduction of people? No.
He did a quickie.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
And Matt?
I'm here. Move on.
Did I miss you, Matt?
Yes, you missed me.
I think he's right there. I'm not used to having a whole room full of
Right,
people. You're kind of hiding behind Elder.
I am. I'm like,
Elder's kind of blocking you. Sorry about that. Maybe I've started. No. So where do they come from?
I think they're probably like old like brothers or some kind of, the people that just watch over us, basically. Somebody that maybe there's multiple of them that they come from different dimensions, that there has to be some kind of dimension, and then it's just levels until they get to us, and then they take care of all of us. Something like that's what I think.
I don't know. I don't know where they come from. I'm not sure if they're extraterrestrial. I think they've been. I don't know if they're spacefaring like we see on all the science fiction shows we love. I think they've been here. They were at one time spacefaring. I think they're like coming from the Arctic or the Andes or some place that we can't get to readily. But they are, I believe, extraterrestrial. They're actually terrestrial because they're Earthlings as much as we are, because they've been here millions of years, maybe longer than us. You know what? So, I mean, we don't call ourselves Earthlings. I heard this on a podcast the other day. Because we're on Mars and we're going to see some Martians. Well, the Martians don't call themselves Martians.
Right.
We're from Mars, but we're not Martians. So I don't know. And the craft, I mean, we were going through the alleged disclosure. Are you following the disclosure, Brent, and all with this in the hearings and all that?
No, not since they came out and talked about it. What was that, about 5 months ago now?
Yeah.
I haven't followed it since then.
It's really been nothing.
Yeah.
For now. It's a whole lot of waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's not much.
I was hoping that they would really do more with it once it became public and
Brent, we have Arrow now. Arrow's here now. I mean, now we're going to know everything.
Yeah.
Worst acronym ever. What's it stand for? Do you remember?
All domain.
Yeah, see, I don't know either. But it's a terrible acronym. It's just another acronym for the alphabet UFO. It's just we're working on it, and then they stop working on it, and then it becomes popular again. They make a new alphabet agency. How many have there been? A lot. But crap. I wrote them all down one time. You can look at it. You can look it up. How many government UFO investigations?
Oh, there's tons.
And I wrote them all down at one point.
And that's probably not all of them, because you don't know most of them.
They had...
There's a lot of secret groups.
Lots of them. Yeah. I mean, it's stupid. You'd think they just have one, Project Blue Book or something that, whatever that was attached to.
I don't think they're I don't think they're for their benefit. I think it's for our benefit. I think they pull out these these programs, and because things happen, so people call for it or whatever, they want answers.
Right.
And because like we talk about you're trying to get answers from the person that supposedly has all this material and bodies, and they know the history, right? So if you're expecting them to come out and say something different, and they literally said the same thing now for 50, 80
Every
years.
year, every time they say the same thing. It's absurd. Well, they treat us like children. Nothing to see here. When we know, well, we don't know, but we're pretty damn sure there's something happening.
Yep.
We don't know what's happening.
Yep.
We know what's been observed. But again, on the other hand, the other side of the coin is they're not falling in my backyard. And I'm not seeing any YouTube or, iPhone, because that shit gets on the internet immediately. That thing crashes in my backyard, it's on YouTube, it's on Rumble.
They just invaded that mall, so that's in Las Vegas.
Yeah, the Vegas one was compelling, but again, it's like...
What's the conclusion? We don't know.
We didn't capture they didn't get trapped in the tractor.
Right.
Two or three of them were trying to work the tractor.
Behind the fence.
Yeah, and then also maybe they just don't crash as much as people think they do. There's the Roswell, whatever
and then they're always crashing in the desert.
I think they crash for a reason. I don't think they do it out of...
Or the ocean.
They don't know how to fly what
they
they
go in the ocean, you're never going to find it.
No.
I think it's gifts at times. Those are, and you hear a lot of people talk about it. They're why would they fly from, let's say they're from another, why they come all the way over here and crash? Come on. Or even if they come from another dimension and now we're wrecked and we're done.
Yeah.
Nah, I think that's on, if it's true, I think it's on purpose.
You haven't seen Earth versus the Flying Saucer?
I love that. Yes,
Don't you know that it was the radar? We had this massive
Maybe
radar.
Maybe early on, I could be
they
true.
couldn't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We converted this radar to a weapon to shoot the Martians down.
Right.
That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
all about that. Korey doesn't like that story either.
So you're saying that they
I
do
think
it
that
on purpose
actually
to give us information?
Sure, but you want to help a civilization further itself faster, like we have been. Think about all we've had in 100 years. So it's 2024. Let's go back to 1924. From 2024 back till then, we've done a lot of stuff real fast, and I think there's a reason for that. I'm not going to say we're a bunch of dumb humans, but I am going to say we're a bunch of dumb humans. I do believe that we were kind of, in a sense, pushed. I mean, they talk about there's genetic changes from us back a certain degree. I think a lot of that is given to us here. Let's give these quote unquote monkeys something and see if they can figure it out. So I think a lot of that is actually on purpose. Okay. I think they're smarter than to come all the way from light years away and wreck. I just don't believe.
Why would they just want to send that to the USA?
China. Well, they don't. They all have.
How do you know they do?
Everybody's got them.
Well, true. But China doesn't say anything though. You hardly hear any UFO crashes out there.
But even pre-communist China, they're actually.
There's tons of crashes
stories.
in Russia and China.
Yeah, Brazil. There's a really famous one.
We took that one supposedly.
Yeah, there's books out there you can get that tell you all the crashes and stuff.
Yep.
And like I said, I don't think they happen that often. And I kind of disagree on that. I don't know. I think anything has a potential to break down or crash or get shot down. I don't think it's like radar that's taking them down. That's kind of our we talk about. But I think that I don't think they're intentionally doing it. It just doesn't. That's just my opinion. But
yeah. Some are intact and not crashed.
What if there's
according to what you read? I'm sorry, go ahead.
What if there's alien mechanics and I don't hate you because you're the pilot, and I'm gonna take the brakes off so you can just go.
But now you're taking yourself. Oh, you mean back at the base? Yeah,
maybe.
I
don't want you to come back.
Yeah. Because I really like your wife. Right? You never know.
Maybe the refugees. I don't know.
Yeah. He needs to stay on Earth. I hope he never comes back to our planet. That guy's just annoying.
There's sending them to our planet from a.
Yeah.
They don't have a prison planet.
Take our bad aliens. Take them. Keep them.
All the criminal aliens.
Do surgery on them. Whatever you want to do. Can we do the back?
I don't think they. To be honest, in my own opinion, I don't think that they're guiding us. I think they look at us like we look at warring ants in Africa, just with casual observation and not understanding why we do the things we do. Because really, look at the thing. As an advanced civilization, and you look at just the stupid shit that's going on in the United States, not to mention the things that go on and other. What would be the purpose? We think they've been around since we started developing nuclear weapons, but not to guide us, but to kind of prevent us from blowing ourselves up. And maybe they're doing that. At the most, they're living here and they don't want us to fuck up the planet.
Yeah.
I think
In the oceans.
But I don't know any more than you guys do. So I don't
You
know
sure?
anything. No.
But they've been here longer than that. I mean, it goes back to Native American
Yeah,
tribes
and,
Yep.
and all
and
that.
as we had finally advanced ourselves, because they crashed and we reverse engineered it, and they didn't give it to us, and then now they're like, oh shit, now look what the fuck they're doing, and it's like, okay, well we gotta. I don't know if they're gonna be able to, if we go to nuclear war in some area like, Ukraine or whatever, tactical nuclear weapons, probably not the major ones. But will they prevent that? I don't want it to happen. It would be kind of interesting to see. Okay, are they going to let that happen? Because nuclear is where you wait. That's where things go bad. You're ruining the region for years and years to come. Nobody's going to live that way. So
I don't like to subscribe to one theory because we don't know what it is. There's many different types of humanoid type grays, red grays, the tall whites, reptilian. There's so many different accounts of so many different type that it's really hard to subscribe to one if you're going to go on the basis of what everybody's telling you. They have nothing to win in this game because it's not. It probably makes them look crazy if they come out and say this. So why would they do that? Why? And then why would other decades upon decades say, I've seen that and I didn't even know he saw that, but I saw it too. So it's hard for me to subscribe to one. Future, far from basically from light years away. It's hard for me because I think we don't know at all what's going on. And we're still trying to figure it out.
I agree.
can we figure it
Going
out?
back to his
Right.
first,
Good question.
his first question is that I don't think there's one answer to all of them.
Right.
Like the extra 10 terrestrials, I think that's one of them, and I think that's part of it. And
Maybe it's all of it.
Other species, there's probably, one of the theories it sounds crazy, but I've always stuck with me ever since I heard it when I was a kid was, some form of smaller, intelligent dinosaur managed to survive, the cataclysmic event that happened, and given millions of years, and then living underground, subterranean, what are they going to look like in 3 million years, or
right.
So that was always kind of stuck with me. It's like that's kind of interesting, they would develop technology, be advanced, but I think that's just one of the many that could possibly be out there. Like you said, there's the Arcturians and the what are the Nordics and like all these different species that people say they see and everything. So.
I do agree with Elder because it seems like all the ones that everybody's saying, I'll just take everybody's account of. There's a few like was kind of metallic or was kind of blob-like, but most of them have 2 arms, 2 legs, a head. They have the torso, so there's got to be something relative there. I don't know if that's depending on where you're living. Maybe it could be that, or maybe because there's a close relative as in genes. So, I definitely agree that I think we're connected to something. Which ones are connected to? Who knows?
I like the dinosaurs.
And so do I. Yeah, I've never heard that one. I like that.
Yeah, I like that. Brent didn't think we were crazy before this started.
Yeah, he knows, guys. He's looking at the door a few times like he's trying to run out.
We live this shit. No,
it sounds crazy, but I saw it in an article. It was a small little thing, and it just always stuck with me. And I'm like,
that's an interesting.
Because there were small species that were pretty intelligent, but they existed outside the bigger dinosaurs. And think about it, they go subterranean, which you could survive. A nuclear winter that lasts 10,000 years.
Right.
And then you're going to have to develop, the ability to survive in that environment. And then you constantly hear about UFOs coming out of volcanoes, coming out of the Arctic, coming out of all these different places. And I mean, it just kind of makes sense to me, that would be a possibility, basically.
Yeah, my stepdad told me something years ago, and I never considered it, but I thought about it. He goes, "You know why there was dinosaurs before us? Because there was people before the dinosaurs, and they messed with all the genetics, and that's what they turned into. And if we don't be careful with genetics, we're going to be the same way." So it kind of reminds me of what he said. Yeah, and he didn't believe in any of
What
this.
about the Ice Age though? With the saber tooth?
Moving underground. It killed off the dinosaurs, right? Because they
With
did the
the-
meteor
Above
hit.
ground
The
ones.
meteor, yeah, the meteor. But the Ice Age, you had mammoths and a lot of saber-toothed,
Lived
like you
past
said.
that, right?
Yeah, so, and a lot of those did go extinct, but, where do we get elephants? They just happen to go into a different environment. What is an elephant? If you take them out of Africa or Asia and you put them in a colder environment, they're probably going to look a lot like a mammoth, or,
Yep.
vice versa. And a lot of species, it's weird, like there's species of cat, large cats, small cats, they're not even genetically related.
Nope.
So you've got two instances of, and there's human ancestors they found now that don't share any common DNA with us.
Right.
So you've got multiple instances of the same species developing in different environments, different times, the same biological features. Which is
Wow.
interesting. Yeah.
That's true.
We just don't know. I mean, we don't even know our own history of the planet. We can only go as far down as we can dig and whatever we can find. And then beyond that, who knows?
Right.
The universe, they keep adding on. First it was 13 billion years, and then it was 23 billion
Yep.
years, and now it's 40 something.
They're
billion
seeing
years.
stars way past where they should have seen if it was the Big Bang. So now they're
Yeah.
like, maybe it was longer. We don't know, right?
Yeah, and the
That's
UFOs
right.
is just part of that. I mean, there's
Yep.
a whole different echoverse going on out there that we just we're a very young part of, and we just got a lot to learn. But-
We're just kids.
Do you think we were
Yeah.
brought here, or do you think we were just, like you said, evolved?
I think.
It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean that's a I think that there's enough evidence of bioevolution of our planet, or of our species and a lot of the species that are on the planet, to say that we probably evolved on this planet. But my biggest thing is if you look at most animals on the planet, they're quadruped, right? Or even our ape ancestor, or ape cousins. They use all four of their limbs basically to move around, and that's because the gravity of the planet is really high. So for us to be standing up, walking around, that's why we have so many back problems. It's harder for blood to pump through your body. So biologically, we're not really suited for this planet, with the exception of we spent a lot of time in water at some point. That's the only thing I can think of is
Right.
that caused us to kind of evolve a little bit differently. But
You know who is suited for this planet? Sasquatch. So if you
I
take
love
some of
Bigfoot.
the
Don't mention it to him.
yeah, that's why I'm mentioning it, because I know he doesn't want to mention it. So if you take
Not that I
the
don't believe it.
go
I
ahead.
don't believe it. No, go ahead.
No, so I mean he can walk on all fours, he can stand up, he's protected for the environment. He's strong enough to really be king of the environment. So maybe we are not no, maybe we are the aliens of this planet.
Yeah.
Because we're really structurally, we're not really made that. I mean, go outside, I'm cold all the time, or I'm hot. But, you don't see Bigfoot out there fanning himself or whatever, So I just want to throw that in there, because I think there is some connection between that, if you believe, if you want to take into account of, again, all these thousands of counts of crazy people just saying this, So I think you got to be open to all of it.
Bigfoot's on all fours?
Yes. I will send
I
you.
mean,
I will
yeah.
send you some.
People have
Yes.
seen it almost like a chimp or a gorilla. They
Yeah.
use their
Their
they want to
front
move faster.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, I saw it on four. I thought it was a bear, and then it stood up and it bolted. And as it's bolting, it goes back down on the fours. It just goes up like the steep 90-degree mountain like nothing.
Yeah.
And like couple strides, boom, boom, he was up.
And I think there's different species because they got the.
I agree.
You've got the that has white fur. And
Yep.
The ones that are
The eye shine, the non-eye shine.
Yeah.
You know, you can go into Dogman and all those other ones, but yeah, I agree. I think that's the same. That's the same kind of a mystery that there's so many different aspects to it.
Bigfoot, Bob Lazar.
Did I just throw a wrench in all of this?
No, I think it's related.
I knew Korey.
I think it's related because
Same.
it's just something that you get snippets of video but there's so many eyewitness accounts. There's Native American accounts. I mean, all this stuff goes back, and
Yep.
we talk about it all the time. There's all this new stuff going on with the government, and it's just getting convoluted. And part of me thinks it's a psyop to just distract everybody. And I think we just need to kind of step back, and that Richard Dolan does a really good job of this.
Yes. It's my favorite.
The history is there. All the material's there, you know what I mean? And you can't, you're never going to be able to take that away. But what's going on now, it's like, I think we're just being led into like kind of this big gray zone that's really not going to accomplish anything.
Bullshit. Exactly. I think we're led into bullshit to, again, distract us from the big picture. Okay. Hey, look over here. That's what you need to be worried about when over there is the actual what's going on. I agree. Man, me and Korey are like on this. Why didn't you bring him over sooner?
But why don't they just come up? It's like, why do they keep hiding? Same thing with Bigfoot. Same thing with all aliens. There's.
You know why there's no aliens? Because there's no aliens.
No, there is something out there. There has to be something out there. There's a big universe out there.
They left in 2020, right after COVID. They left.
That could have taken me with them.
Something with the electromagnet. This is what this guy.
No. Because if you go back, even on the Ice Age, all those cavemen and all that.
Yeah,
they drew UFOs.
They were here for that.
Exactly.
They drew UFOs.
Exactly.
If you go back to Egypt, they drew a UFO.
Yep.
The
Natives.
Aztecs, the Mayans.
Yep.
Everybody drew some kind of a big head shape.
Columbus saw a UFO go in the water.
Yep. Yeah.
It's like, and then there has to be something out there.
There is. There's got to be something.
That's a good question.
Why did they just be like, you know what, we're here?
Yeah.
What can we do? We can't run.
Or are they here?
I think
are they in the government? Are they intertwined? They say something. Are they intertwined?
I'm an alien. I'll say it. All right. You just got I'm an alien.
Boom.
Actually, we all are. All these guys are. Don't trust any of them.
I'm an illegal alien.
Probably a
Bam! The doors open up.
Here comes ice.
I gotta put some in my drink. Oh.
So, MUFON, we're gonna real quick. Did you find out what happened with their Star Watch thing or whatever?
Oh yeah. So nothing really big. I think Rick said he recorded orbs. Some pretty good photos of orbs, which we'll probably see next time the meeting happens. It went pretty good from what I heard.
The CE5 thing?
Yes, they did the CE5. Yeah, they didn't really see anything big. There was a few, flashes, a couple of movement of things far off. But there wasn't a landing. There wasn't.
MUFON goes up.
Bigfoot didn't show up.
Once a year, it goes up to Kelowna at night, obviously, and they do a sky watch. So people bring their laser, the high-power laser pointers.
Flashing airplanes.
Night vision.
Night vision.
Yeah.
See if something comes out. I went to the last one we went to. We saw anything.
Again, because
satellites.
I've seen a lot of things, and I only really say I'd seen 3 really good things that I would tell anybody. But I would just see lights here and there. I wouldn't, in my own opinion, no.
They said they saw orbs, and they were doing the CE5. That's
where you draw them in.
Dr. Greer, he does this. What was his big documentary? That big one where at the end of it
there's one Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, which is the CE5 that you're talking about.
The one on Netflix, is that the one you're talking about?
It's the one where he does the whole thing. It was really excellent, and then at the end he tried to sell you the CE5 thing, which I wanted to throw my phone at the TV.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It's the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind.
That's the one. Yeah.
So he sells your ability, and it's similar to you can do it on your own and actually summon things. I mean, it's just, some of the things are just a group of people talking, and there's no one there. You know, they don't know where these things come from.
I've tried
or
for years.
UFOs or ET, but it's you're just meditation, a form of meditation that he puts out there. Now it's kind of public. You can get it on YouTube. But yeah, Dr. Greer's I think he's a charlatan, but that's a whole thing. Oh, that's recorded. Oh man.
That's all right.
Yeah. So, but there's a lot of good people, a lot of good, people that Dolan, like you said, Dolan's. I think he's one of the best ones.
He's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. So, what about the ships? Are they cylindrical? Do we have some of every different kind?
Let's see.
The ones in.
So if we go on my 3 sightings. So in 79, when I was about 10, I was in Richmond. I'll just make it real quick. We were driving towards Point Richmond, right on the Richmond Parkway, I think it is, and right above the Burlington Northern Railroad, and then behind that is Standard Oil. I saw 3 saucers, and they were glowy gold, and they were just going right at the tip top. So, and that was early on. My second sighting would have been with me and the ex-wife in Vallejo. We were really close to Mare Island, but Mare Island was pretty much closed. And I saw what looked like a giant football with a bunch of lights in it going all over the place. The next day, it was huge. And I went back and asked her, because I just remember it looking big. She goes, no, this is huge. And she goes, it went for a good about 2 minutes. This is before cell phones, so early 90s or something. And she goes, and it just winked out. There was like all these real cool lights. The next day, a bass player in my band's like, hey, did you see that? Yeah, I saw it. It was in the newspaper, Vallejo Times-Herald, different shape. The last one I had, which was 2022, was over here off of 80 on the causeway. And these just look like orbs. There was no flashing. There was no planes. Our MUFON investigator looked it up. No, I mean, she's like, it wasn't planes, wasn't drones that we knew of. Nothing on radar. And it was 2 of them. And I noticed they were at a weird angle, and they were just sitting there. So as I'm driving, they just kind of go with me. And they were about, if you're going on 80, they were probably a good 1,000 feet back. And they followed, and then poof, another one popped. It just popped on. So as you continued on, right before you get to that, another one popped on. So they were flying dark, if it was anything, that we had, completely dark, and then all of a sudden, it just looked like a round ball. So that was an orb. So UFO, weird football thing, an orb, yeah, they're all different. I know people see triangles, cigar-shaped, cylinder. Yeah, to me, they're
all the ones in Bob Lazar's garage were all kind of the same saucer.
Maybe those are made by us.
What's that?
Maybe they could be. Maybe we
that's
figured them
the other
out.
thing. Are these ours?
Could be.
Or are we just flying them? Maybe that's why we're crashing, because look how we drive. How are we going to fly a saucer? We're just running it into the one where they're just running it into the stand
Or
in the desert.
Or we made one and we had an alien fly and then.
Yeah. Is that the one they show all the time that does this? It's got like propellers in the middle. You ever see that one? There's 4 of them, and it's doing this, and it's the videos are to prove.
Talking the Avro car.
Yeah, the Avro car. Yeah, it's kind of like are we seeing that just because they're going? Yeah, see, look, this is what happens when we try to make one.
Well, no, that's where they said, look, that's what you're seeing.
I'd never seen one of those until they showed me the video.
That's the UFO.
Right.
It's only a couple feet off the ground.
Yeah,
almost a hovercraft.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of misidentification.
Definitely.
I think that's a pretty common one, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, you've got anti-gravity. You can fly a brick. I mean, you could literally,
Maybe we're creating one.
It doesn't matter.
Maybe us humans, we're creating one with the help of them, trying to see if we could use it like they do, so we have them fly it, and that's what they come down, because,
There's made the accounts of that.
Yeah.
So you can't pull that out of the book.
Yeah, you might be able to overcome gravity, but how are you going to go, 7,000 miles an hour without an inertial dampener system?
You have to have that. You have to create
splatter
something.
against
You're right. If you're not creating that field that then you're right. You're jello as soon as that thing gets up a certain amount.
One of our manufacturer rep for our equipment, he was in down in LA. He lived in LA before he moved up here, and he was at his backyard of his house, and he saw this thing. So it couldn't have been more than 400 or 500 feet in the air, and it was standard saucer style. It was going. He said it was only going like 70 miles an hour, and it was just heading toward the mountains.
Did it have like a skunkwork sticker on it?
All male.
Yeah.
All male.
What about the triangles? I mean, the
TR3Bs.
yeah. I mean, and then we're talking early '90s, late '80s, and probably even.
Yeah,
I mean, what's the name?
Yeah, I think we may have overcome gravity.
Antigravitical.
Thompson Brown.
Maybe that was one of their old aircrafts or something.
Yeah, maybe that was like one of the first tests.
Plastic.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean they can make something possibly go up, but I don't know if they can. The one we did make was allegedly was where we converted to nuclear power.
Oh, the Cash Lander.
Oh yeah, that was like a diamond, wasn't it? Like a big, kind of almost a pyramid.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it had a point in the bottom. It was pointing.
Right, and it had a.
Yes.
Yeah, like.
It messed up the car. It got two of the people sick. They got out of the car. The kid and the mom, I think.
Yeah, well,
that's
it dropped
where
some material.
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
The radioactive material on the car.
19 helicopters following it or something.
Yeah, some Chinooks.
And they couldn't find one. And the Air Force was like, we don't know what you're talking about, crazy.
It was actually a MUFON, I think, went and investigated that.
Is that who? I didn't know that.
There was a guy, he was a former NASA guy, he was working for MUFON, and he went to the area, and they had redone the road. Just that one section.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. Afterwards. Yes.
Couldn't find anything else, but he said that that part of the road had been repaired. Just that one section.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that's pretty weird and realistic.
That sounds kind of like what
Something
humans
we
would do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But they ended up, the two women, one of them, they both sued the government, and one of them got money.
Did they? I don't think anybody got paid on that.
Yeah, they got dismissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were close,
Which is sad,
but they didn't get it. And the kid's still alive, right? He still has problems, I think. But he's not a kid
I
anymore.
heard Dolan or somebody tell the story, and the one didn't get paid, and one died, and then another one got paid. But I don't know. Anyway, I don't see the government paying. That's admitting that.
Yeah, that's kind of admitting that there's something out there if they're paying you, right?
Lying.
Right.
So, and then we had the other incident up in Puget Sound. Was it Puget Sound? Somewhere up there in the Pacific Northwest, where the thing flew over it was dropping material like
dripping right.
Like
I've heard a few of those.
Something it was flying like that.
Oh,
erratically.
Yeah, you're talking about the one in Washington.
Yeah. So then it drops the stuff. It drops it on a boat, kills the dog, breaks the kid's arm.
That's right.
It's on the boat, goes to the shore. There's a box of material. A B-25 flies from the base in the Bay Area.
Or something like that?
Yeah, they fly. They pick two guys, just the co-pilot and the navigator. Fly in with this Mitchell B-25 up to the area. They land. They pick up literally a box, like a banker's box. Like it was kind of described, small. But they had enough material in it to bring it, back to the Bay Area.
Right.
And on the way back, the freaking thing.
It was Beale, wasn't it? Was that where they were bringing
caught on fire?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he crashes, kills everybody. But the kid, I was wondered what happened to the kid, because you want to find a witness to the incident with the saucer. The kid ends up working in some diner in Nevada, and nobody's ever really
talked to him.
They kind of tracked him down, but I never heard of any interviews or things. It was bizarre.
So the box just disappeared?
With the ship. They went in, one of the UFO things, the one with the, I don't know the name, the guy, the old guy with a baseball cap and sunglasses. He was a UFO investigator. And he investigated the site.
Oh, Bill Burns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a huge show.
Yeah, they went. They were trying to find slag that was left over. Like
Yeah, they're trying to find that material.
Did they take metal detectors and stuff like that? Did they look
I
it
don't know
up?
if they had metal detectors. Maybe they had something like they were.
Yeah,
know,
they
were
found
like
pieces
a pump
of
or something. They were
wreckage.
pumping a bunch of silt off the bottom. They were trying to find. Oh, did they find something?
Just the wreckage of it.
Oh,
They
really?
play but not the stuff.
Yeah, there's another really good one, and I just heard it brought up today. I was listening to something. Is it Shag Harbor?
Shag Harper. Yeah.
That's a good one. That's another one where it's over the water and something's wrong with it.
It's dripping, right?
And, and it was dripping material off the
Yep.
bottom, and it goes under the water, and they can see the light underneath. And I guess the Canadian, I don't know if it's the Coast Guard, Navy, sent divers down, and they saw like beings actually trying to repair it underwater or something like that.
Yeah.
I just haven't heard that one in a while.
There's a Russian one with the same thing. I don't know if there was an actual ship, but I don't know. I don't remember how the story goes, but there was beings underwater, and they went down, and people got zapped, and it like basically like they couldn't move, and they saved this guy, and then they stopped going down there because, and I don't remember if that was. I don't think it was Antarctica. I don't remember, but it was something
I know what
Russian.
you're talking about, yeah.
Okay, same thing.
So they saw these things, and they had these like things over their heads.
Yes.
I don't know why they were originally there.
Right.
But,
That's what I don't remember
And then they
either.
forced them to come to the surface like really quickly or something. So a lot of them depressure, did died from
The bends.
depressurization. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think one guy survived or something like that because they were trying to grab one or
Yes,
something.
they tried to grab it and bring it back
Yeah,
up.
that's always a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, won't you grab it next time you're down there, okay?
We're not very smart. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. It's
There's a lot of good cases. That's all right.
Should have seen a Mexican out there last week.
Got it. See? That's all you had to do. You don't touch with your hands, you grab with a rope. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, part of that is when they get hurt, people in the military are investigating these things, and they're getting hurt. Part of the disclosure that a lot of people don't
Realize.
think about
Yeah.
is that they're getting treated for these injuries. They're touching the ships, or they're getting hurt diving, and or killed, and then somebody wants to know what happened.
Yep.
And then it's a form of disclosure that's not very public.
Yeah.
Because, well, the problem is the medical records are sacred. You can't.
Why keep it a secret though? Why?
That's always the question.
That's probably a show right there.
Yeah.
Why do we think they're keeping it secret?
What do you win from it? What is?
Well, I would say on the medical side, why the government wouldn't admit to that? Money. So your castle at Landrum and your family, and you're sick from this, and they die. I smell lawsuit. I smell lawsuits popping up all over the place.
Well, what's going to happen?
For people getting hurt from touching them, or maybe some exposure to them. That's money. I think.
Everybody from the 50s up.
There's a lot of civilian cases that, as long as it's civilian, you can get access, and there's a lot of documentation of that. It's the military ones that you're never going to hear about.
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of these involve the military because they're usually the first on the scene, or
I think there's many reasons why they keep it a secret. Money. The government tends to find things, or if they say they're finding things. So what is the first thing the government's going to do if they find something from another civilization that's way more advanced than ours? What are they going to do with it? We need to make that a weapon. Man, we can control the world if we can make that a weapon. And I think money is the driving root of everything around, the world and the planet. So I think a lot of it has to do with money. Also, we're the government. We can't protect you from these because, these things are zipping around here at their own imperial, they can do whatever they want. So, we are here to protect you, but we can't protect you from that. They're not going to ever admit that. Never.
But when they're hiring, NASA was hiring people, something like that.
To investigate?
No, to keep, to fight UFOs from coming in or something like that. NASA actually
Space
Force.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make a Space Force.
Space Force is really the Air Force. It's an extension of the Army of the Air Force.
So is it like a military version of NASA?
Yeah, my brother's a DOD contractor.
Right.
He works
Don't say his name.
around that kind of stuff. And he just said that all he really could tell me is that they're just an extension of the Air Force.
You know how you see like U.S. Air Force on rockets and stuff?
Right.
They're just basically this is what I heard. It's just like I said, it's an extension of the Air Force, but it's specifically designed to deal in space. So any satellites, all that stuff, they're going to be the ones protecting satellites or destroying satellites or anything like that. I don't think it's anything has to do with UFOs. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but that's my understanding.
Right.
It's just basically anything space related. That's their specific thing that they're going to deal with.
Well, just think, we'd be back to the Stone Age if we. And you could, a fighter plane actually destroyed a satellite, right? We were talking about that.
Yeah.
This was quite a while ago.
Yeah, it was F-15.
And they just flew this plane up and shot a missile, killed a satellite. And can you imagine if of course, Elon's got like 1 million of those.
I thought satellites were technically in above the atmosphere.
Yeah, they killed one doing that.
Really?
Yeah, it was like
you gotta figure. Yeah, the missile's not gonna be able to.
Oxygen, right?
So it was.
They
were talking about the F-15, and it was a show I was watching about that went through the whole history of the design and everything of it.
Right.
So they were trying to do two things. One, they were trying to prove that they could actually take out something orbiting the planet.
Right.
And then also they wanted to show the capabilities of the F-15, basically. So it did go up. I don't know what type of missile it was, but it did destroy something in space.
Right.
I can't remember exactly what it is, but I don't know if they've ever done that again, but they did pull it off.
It wasn't an air balloon?
Chinese balloon.
Weather balloon.
I'm so tired of the balloon stories.
Does anybody want strawberry shortcake? I'll do it on recording. Debbie's gonna fix strawberry shortcake.
I'll take some.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at me. Do you think I don't want
Cheers.
strawberry shortcake?
No shortcake here.
I'm good.
Shortcake, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
2 takers.
I'll let her know, and I'll get you a beer.
It's just weird though. It's like
Again, I want to go back to his question. Why the government? It's not, to me. It's not why the government's not coming forward. If they're out there, why aren't they coming forward? We could just land on the White House lawn and go, "Hey, everybody, we're here." Why wouldn't any other NHIs? I guess let's call it that. NHIs say, we're here. What does everybody stop?
Humans are going to start asking for help. Help me with this. Help me with that. And they can't.
Communicate with them.
And then they can't come. Maybe they can't come out and be like, "Here we are," because we could get sick. Just like
the Verone, was that the one where the guy Verone?
That had like a egg smell to it, and it was
Yeah, and then he died.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody got dollars? We're gonna have to provide.
Yeah, I think I might have $5 here. She's just like.
I don't know. That's a good question.
NHL, why don't they?
It would be nice if they would. But yeah, I don't know. I think there's multiple species, multiple levels of technology. A lot of the crashes seem to be not as as advanced as other ones. It'd be nice if they did that. And I don't even know and I think the government doesn't know. I don't think they know exactly what it is.
I agree.
I know there's
I think they know some, but I don't think they know as much as we think they know.
Right.
I think they're kind of confused by a lot of it also.
Yeah. But yeah, it'd be nice if they just did that. But you could look through certain times in history where, like
Well, in history, when they were out here, they're pretty sure they helped the Mayans.
Well, in DC,
Right,
like,
pyramids.
yeah, 1952.
Back when we had nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
No nukes, no firearms or something like that.
We can shoot. We can effectively do something. Back then, it'd be kind of difficult to do something to them with their technology.
They're like, they're dangerous. Don't go there now. It's a bad time.
Well, that's the other thing. The pyramids. How old are the pyramids really? You ever look at the top of? That's awesome.
We don't really know, do we?
Do we know how old the pyramids
are? Do we know how old anything
was
made of stone really is?
Were the Egyptians really the ones to build those?
Yeah.
Or were those actually built?
And they just
I've heard is that they were pre-Egyptian, and then the Egyptian just kind of built onto them and utilized them.
And scratch your names
Yeah, they built on top of them.
Yeah.
And then they emulated it after that. Yeah. But look at the South America, when they did the LiDAR over South America.
Yeah.
There's like...
cities.
Sounds a lot.
I know, but I was trying to think. I just heard the number. There was
I
like,
think that tells you who built the pyramids. Mexicans did.
It's a Mexican.
Took them to Egypt.
No,
What are you trying to say?
Yeah. What are you saying?
Yeah. We took them to Egypt. We did them
The
over there.
backbone
We did them over there.
Of everything,
Yeah.
actually.
Cosmic Home Depot.
Oh my god.
I can't remember the number, but it was crazy how many pyramid structures they found that are just buried in the jungle. Like it's just
Yes,
insane.
yeah.
They found one bigger than the one in they just discovered one in Guatemala that's bigger than the one in Egypt. Way bigger. That they're trying to clean it out and stuff in the middle of the jungle.
Some a lot of those look like they're mountains, but if they start like doing, a test and they're like, it's actually a pyramid under that because it's grass and dirt collects in the grass.
Yeah.
So over many, many years, it just looks like a big round mountain or, a peak of a mountain.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
The amount of labor and materials, and
Yep.
I mean, even today they say to build the pyramids, even with modern construction technology,
couldn't do it,
it's like
right?
They probably couldn't do it.
Well, they tried. They
can't
were
lift
trying
half
to
those
say-
stones.
They found the quarry that they got a lot of the stone. Not a lot of it. was
How
measured.
close are they?
You could get there by boat, so they.
That's crazy.
So they.
Maybe there's no
loaded
water then, though.
They
You gotta
loaded this
consider.
crazy ass big block that they
Had to be
cut by
humans.
hand.
Huh?
Those had to be
You know,
humans.
just-
Yeah.
It takes them like forever to get this block cut out. And then they put it on this boat, and the boat's like one block, and the boat's practically sinking.
There's
so
a possibility there's no water there too, but even then,
We got to figure back.
It might be better to have water.
It didn't look like it does today either. There's probably a lot more water.
Yep, trees,
There
forests.
was actually you look at Egypt now and it's like a desert.
They probably had
Back
less.
then it was tropical.
I bet you.
But you still got to get those blocks there.
Yeah, they can't.
Yeah, it was tropical.
I mean,
Well, that's
It is,
UFOs.
most of the
like,
time.
I mean, yeah, but think about that. I mean,
it's
and
impossible.
not even necessarily UFOs. There could have been a pre-civilization that was advanced.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
I think we've gone through multiple cycles on the planet. where
Same.
we've, gotten to a point technologically, and then we
Matt
either get
Elder
knocked back or taken down a peg or whatever.
Yeah, I think we've been through a lot of civilizations that will never know about because the Earth moves around and burns, and we're never gonna know. There's no book.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about like all those movies like the E.T., Men in Black, and all that? How was that created? Thank you. How was that?
Thank you.
How was that? How could they think
Come on,
about
trouble.
There's
the
been-
writer?
Mhm.
How did he? When I make a movie of E.T.
Well, it's all everything Spielberg's done is based on. In fact, a lot of people say that Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
You have to
What?
watch that.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys see that?
Yeah, you got to see that.
You have to see
A
that.
lot of people say that was a kind of a soft disclosure.
Yeah.
Basically.
That was
Kind
like the
of
first
see how-
one that came out, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, it's the best alien movie ever. I mean, in my opinion, as far as the phenomenon and everything.
It was my introduction into Greys. I don't ever remember seeing Greys on any kind of television or movie until that movie, and I want to say it's early '80s.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
and that was Jacques Vallée was part of that.
Yep. He's in it, isn't he? Isn't he? Or there's a character.
Hynek is in it. Jacques Vallée, I think, was just an advisor.
Right.
I think. Yeah.
And it was a character maybe looked like him.
Oh, he was a character. Huh?
I'm pretty sure there's something behind all that movie.
Right. That
And then
is.
Men in Black they've been around supposedly they've been around for a long time.
Yeah.
I think there's clues in that, in all those movies. There's clues that
I-
Hints.
maybe
Yeah.
that we can't figure out,
You're right.
but other people can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely think it's a soft disclosure, whereas let's introduce this into society. Let's get it in people's minds, and now other people make movies of it and shows, and it keeps climbing and keeps climbing. So
Yeah.
it's definitely kind of a
Yeah,
thought.
no, that's a good theory. I think that they do that. I think the government does, get involved or they were involved in Hollywood and that type of stuff because they can kind of control the narrative, But
What about David Rush? I haven't heard from him in a while.
He is. What was he
What's he
doing?
doing? Is he real or part of the problem?
Trying to think of the last thing I've heard about from him. I think they're building something up to come forward with other. I don't want to say firsthand, kind of like he really wasn't. I don't know. I don't think he saw anything or touched anything, or I think he's there. What it was? It was something political that he wanted to basically come out politically with something. So we're waiting on that.
And a book, probably.
Probably. I know Lou Elizondo has a book coming out in August called Imminent. And he finally passed Dobser, I think. Went through all that whole process.
And he said he was threatened.
Yes, that's the newest one. Yeah.
Well, did you hear the guy? So the latest one is the reason he came out, and I guess he came out and said, I'm not suicidal. I'm not prone to accidents because there was another guy supposedly, I don't know if it's one of the whistleblowers that committed suicide. I don't know who it is, but
right.
Have you ever heard that yet?
No, that's new.
Yeah, so that's why Elizondo was preemptively saying,
if I die, something's wrong here.
Yeah, and I guess this guy was part of that, like he was a first-hand witness. Yeah, nobody knows who he is, and I don't even know if it's true, but basically that was what
that's why
I guess he was freaking out about. Yeah.
Yeah, that I do know that. Yeah, he just came out and said his life is threatened.
Well, somebody I guess died or killed themselves, and
yeah.
So there's some weird,
Yeah, I think they're still waiting to have hearings. That should be rolling down. This is a way. So again, remember, I followed it around the early '90s more than anything. I was reading books. There would be waves, and there would be nothing, and there would be wave, and there would be nothing. This is exactly how the UFO topic always works.
That's what I told Doug.
And either you stay on and just kind of wait, and I'm hearing now, a few people on podcasts like, "Yep, I'm done. Nothing's ever going to come out. I'm gone." That happens. It's a waiting game, and normally we lose on that because you're dead before anything comes out. Because again, you're not going to get it from the government. I don't think they're going to say anything.
Did you guys see the interview with Burchett and Luna with the director of the Department of Energy? That woman. Oh my God, they attacked her. Mm-hmm. They asked her.
Is that recent?
Luna can be a bitch. she jumped all over this. She did the typical government thing, and what are you doing talking about UAP over the nuclear facilities and things? And
well, she's been treated like shit. Like every time she's
to
get access
and the woman
to
just kind of states that, we've got systems set up. We've got systems set up, for drone detection, ma'am. Luna, man, we were not talking about drones.
She said that? Yeah. Good.
It was badass. So
is this recent? I don't remember seeing this. Is this kind of recent?
I should have sent it to you because I came across it by accident. It was like a blip. It's not very long.
Okay.
Surprising. Burchett started, and then he started in on her. And Burchett's they're the disclosure House representatives in these hearings.
Tennessee.
They were just asking about
what's going on.
I like him.
Around nuclear facilities.
So there were other questions regarding that, but it was really weird, and she really cornered her.
Yeah.
It was
good.
Badass.
Good.
I mean, they have to.
They aren't going to do anything.
No.
It sounded good.
Well,
it's not gonna help.
But they're trying to. We talk about this. I think the national security aspect of it. That's what they're going to have to.
Is he trying to get out?
I was going to text him.
Bye, Max. Everybody say bye to Max.
Every dog needs a doorman.
He's like the foods out there.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, I don't like shortcake. So they're trying to. They do a skiff. They've done a skiff, and what a skiff is, the representatives go in with the last one that they just did.
Yep.
They went into the skiff with the contractors. They had a couple contractors in there, and their handlers. And what you do is, any electronic devices, you literally have to put it in like those concert things, you put it in a bag and leave it outside and do all that, so nothing can be recorded. And the contractors just came out and basically said, there's nothing to see here. And so Burchett says, if there's nothing to see there, why don't you come outside this? Why don't you, the contractor, come outside and tell the public there's nothing to see there? Go into the hearing, just tell everybody there's nothing. You don't have anything. But they won't. They won't.
Well, then they deny them access when they try to go with something.
Yeah, and well, they're never gonna. And I don't know what this new thing is. They were able to. There's a limit on their. I guess the contractors now. This part has already come up that they have to give up whatever any UAP whatever they have.
You're not talking about the thing that cut it down the first time.
National Archives.
Oh, okay.
So they do have to give up that, but again, all that's going to happen is they're going to say, "I don't have anything."
Right.
You know, do the contractors have the materials?
But what's good about that is you're going to get somebody like who's the Black Vault guy?
Jimmy Church.
He's going to FOIA.
Greenwald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to FOIA once they do release that information.
Yes.
He's going to FOIA the crap out of it.
That dude's good.
And then you're going to see
John.
You're not going to get everything, but you're going to get more pieces of the puzzle, I think.
But there's nothing to hide because there's nothing there.
Right.
Yeah, well, and then there's the issue of the fact that if you're
it.
trying to get to the emails and because it came out when it started talking about Grush.
We got rid of them. We didn't need them.
Well, they got the emails, and you could do a FOIA, which was you could actually. I've done one. I didn't get the information. They told me they didn't have what I asked for. But you can ask the government for whichever agency, CIA, DIA, FBI, and ask them about a specific incident or record of some kind, military record or something.
Did you? They denied your JFK request?
No, it was Serpo.
Oh.
I like that story.
No, they give me nothing. They
Nothing.
said it
Oh.
Nothing.
because it never happened. So,
Never
so
happened.
you can do
Ever.
a FOIA, which FOIA is you can do it online and you send it to them, like the one I did, and I requested the information. They literally, I sent it at 4. We were still at the office. Sent it on my phone at about 4:45. I got the answer back at 7:45 the next morning about how they couldn't have anything, and I'm thinking, okay, we spit out full of. You literally, did you even look at it? You know, it's like, you know.
You wrote what comes across the algorithm, so it immediately sends it
Yeah,
back.
it just says Serpo. Oh yeah, I know. It automatically.
Yes. Yup. Serpo. Wrong answer.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
You know. Serpo's a story where I don't know if you've heard the story, where allegedly we sent 12.
Yeah, I have heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that story.
If you heard about it, you probably heard it from me.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's a book. Debbie and I on the show, we actually reviewed the book, like almost word for word, and so that she could make fun of it, and then I could, support it. It's funny. It's like one of the most listened to things on the show. People, you can see
it.
there's 10 chapters.
I was a fan.
There's 10. We did 10 shows on it. And you can see Super Bowl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like yesterday, there were 9 episodes were listened to, and I'm like, I don't know why. Honestly,
I love that. It's a great
It's
story,
really-
whether it's true or not. It's a great story.
Anyway, we sent to 12 people. Where it started was Roswell, and one of they call them Ebens, extra biological entities, and one survived, and then it eventually we communicate with it. It gets its radio to work on one of the ships that wasn't destroyed. One, because in Roswell, I don't know if you know, Brent, there was 2 ships. There was one that went to Roswell. One was found months later, I think, in another. Yeah, and it crashed with dead aliens. But one alien survived somewhere, allegedly. So it radios the home planet. Their arrangement is made for us to do kind of an exchange. We get even, we're evens, and we send 12 people to this planet. So it just outlines it's the story of the training and the story of what they had to go through. I mean, they said that there was 12 of them. There was 2 alternates. It was 10 years, I think. They had to stay on the planet 10 years. I think it's 10 years. I should know this.
Yeah, you read the story.
So, and the 2 alternates had to actually stay in Leavenworth. They couldn't go to the pub. They couldn't be in the public. So as long as that team was there on the planet, the 2 alternates had to basically stay in jail for 10 years. Now, they weren't in jail. They were probably in a very nice, bad part of Leavenworth, if there is such a thing. So that's the story. So then we come back. So if you Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you've seen it? Years ago, probably.
Yes.
And I don't know if you remember at the end, there was a dozen people with dark sunglasses and baseball hats.
Mm-hmm.
They came off the ship.
That's
Yeah.
the 12 going to
From
Serpo.
Serpo, yeah.
And they say that Spielberg actually there's a story that Spielberg actually has access to something, information about E.T. UFOs.
He's about to make a new movie, isn't he? About
Yeah, there is a
About this-
documentary
yeah.
or something, right?
No, he's making another.
He's making
movie,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Something about aliens.
Yep.
I haven't heard. That's the only thing I've heard.
That's
about.
all I
So
heard.
he's supposed to know. It's kind of the only if Close Encounters didn't have that thing, I probably wouldn't be as interested in the Serpo story because it ties in, But everybody I talked to in like Preston, I talked to a guy a couple weeks ago, Preston Dennett. He's not huge, but he's in a lot of podcasts and
A lot of books.
he knows a lot of stuff. And he's like, yeah, he doesn't know. He goes, no, I'm not. He goes, he's not convinced. He goes, the circle things. He's like Korey that way. But it's kind of like, it's interesting. It's intriguing that that we could possibly do that. But they came. 3 of them died. So I know you're probably not going to review the book. So 3 of them died. 1 of them stayed. No, 1 stayed and 2 died. He decided to stay with the conditions on that planet. There's no way in hell. Because you ain't eating any hamburgers or anything. They're weird. They got terrible food.
I'm out.
Yeah. They've got this freaking snake. They've got a snake there that's got human eyes. It's got like eyes like ours, but it looks like a cobra and it's big and it'll kill you. And but they would go. It's real hot. So in order for them to be comfortable, they have to actually go to another region, and they explore all these things, and they're able to. They have craft there that they.
What did they say they took them?
The system? Zeta Reticuli. There's a binary star system.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's probably why it's hot. Right?
Isn't that
Stars.
What would you
Betty
say?
and
What's that?
What would that one person say?
They fell in love with the place. They just.
One person fell in love?
Well, yeah, the rest of them said, "Fuck this, I'm out."
He's probably going to divorce out here.
Yeah, there was no way I would stay there.
Didn't Betty and Bob have the Zeta Reticuli? Wasn't it the same place that she kind
Yeah,
of
Betty
pinned?
and Barney Hill.
Barney Hill, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about that I think a couple weeks ago. It's
Right.
like that's where the 2 the couple got. There's a story with that too that's kind of interesting where, they're saying that this is all a psyop, where all these, aliens are kind of a psyop, and that even the Betty and Barney Hill thing was if you think about it, can they be hypnotized into thinking that these were aliens? But she allegedly wrote the Zeta Reticuli star system diagram on something.
Before we even figured
Well, she asked them where they were from, and they showed her it was like a hologram or something of
Right.
the star system. So they didn't know what it was at the time.
Because
But then
she did
later,
them out. Yeah.
somebody saw a drawing of it, and they're like, oh yeah, that's the Zeta Reticuli star system. And then Lazar said that the documents that he was briefed on mentioned that too in there.
Yeah, so
That's Doug's buddy.
yeah, I don't know. Because is it a psyop? Are they trying to keep us from finding out the truth, or is it a lie, or this
I don't
whole
know,
thing?
man. Have you heard the recordings of
Yeah,
him under hypnosis?
He
Yeah.
sounded pretty terrorized.
Yeah, I mean,
she was freaked out.
Yeah.
She
Plus,
actually she lost it.
That actually has physical evidence, like her dress,
Yeah.
had something, and
It was torn or something.
yeah, she saved it. But I know UFO hunters did an analysis on it. I can't remember what they found, but I think somebody else is doing something on it right now. They couldn't identify it. It was some type of liquid that dried on the dress.
And if you take the politics, they're both biracial. She's white, he's black. That's a bad time to come out to the press. Honestly.
Yeah, I thought
that's
was
not a good idea.
Too.
Right.
Yeah, because that was in what the 50s, 60s.
There was 60 something, I think.
Yeah, so that was it. Just struck me as odd because they're driving from wherever they were doing. It was at 2:00 in the morning. I mean, I guess you do that.
Did they get lost? I don't remember.
They just were driving on their route.
They saw it.
They saw a big glowing UFO.
And that took place over quite a bit of time. It didn't just show up. Like,
right.
They saw it.
And it followed them, basically. Yeah.
So
he had binoculars. He pulled out of the trunk or something.
Heard a similar story like that from one of my teachers in middle school. Mm-hmm. He was in the Air Force, Mr. Ibarra, James Ibarra. I don't know if he still is. He was a great teacher, great English teacher. He was in the Air Force, and he was in war in Iraq. So he will come back and teach us, and then he will leave for war again. He mentioned a story. The whole class was just in shock when he was talking about it, where him and his mom got abducted. Mm-hmm. They were traveling from somewhere here in California, and it was like an 8-hour drive.
Yeah.
And something just came right behind them and picked them up, and you see, and then it just 2 hours later they showed up where they were supposed to be.
Missing time.
And then it was their missing time, and then he asked, and then because he was a pilot as well, he said he used to see UFOs flying next to him.
Yeah.
Like that. So it's just like, if my teacher that was in the Air Force actually was side to side with them, I couldn't believe that. I was like...
And back then you can't report it or you're done.
And he's like, we can't talk about it.
Right.
I was like, I'm just telling you guys a story so you guys know that there's people out there.
Yeah.
Non-human people.
Yep.
And then there was another story, same thing from another soldier, that they say there's like non-humans in the military.
Really?
But they don't talk about that. They can't talk about it.
Right. They don't. You want to keep your career and your retirement, and you better shut up. Yep.
Yeah, but it's like, it's just crazy. I don't know. It's crazy they could just keep that secret if there's all that shit going on. You know?
All right.
That's good.
Anybody want to listen to Elder's story?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, granted, we can't. I kind of stopped it right where you began with it. We're not going to do the whole thing, obviously. Where he explores, Norman explores Elder's.
Are you able to turn this up so we can...
I turn it up as high as I can, but you can hardly hear it. You won't be able to. You'll hear the guy in the music and not a lot of Elder. Ready? Well, that's rolling.
Moving further along now. Have you ever had any contact with a UFO or an alien?
It's weird that he asked you that. Oh.
Can you describe that experience?
I thought it was a random question.
So did I.
Yeah, I'm like, it's... Creepy Elder. I just hear breathing. I'm like, I like that.
You got better hearing than I do.
I can't hear her.
You can't hear. You know.
Are you talking at this point?
You
Because I
can't-
can't hear nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not the only deaf one.
No, you can hardly hear him talking. So
All I hear is
like
the
I said,
music.
you guys are only.
It seems like I type one right there.
Oh, it sounds like whispering. Yeah.
It's not like me talking. It's like
Someone else.
someone else.
Mm.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like your voice, as I noticed.
It's like now me talk to somebody else.
Anyway, that's just the experience a little bit.
I can hear the music and the guy. I can hear it whispering.
Yeah,
But he did a transcript of it too. You said, or
he wrote it
He
down.
gave it to me. I gotta find it. I gotta see where it's at. But he wrote everything down. I should look for that.
They
It's
should have an
very
external mic, like you could like place on him or you when you do it.
Right there.
Inside the ocean, it's a fish.
fish.
Tons of fish.
You were a fish? Oh, lots of fish you see. Yes. Can you describe what they look like?
Big eyes. Big heads.
Human-like heads?
More like an octopus.
Is that octopus?
More like an octopus is the head.
Really?
Oh,
Did they communicate with you?
That's a,
And there's a long time between response. He
Did you
takes a
perceive them
long,
as friendly?
like it's weird because you're like,
You didn't feel like you were in any danger?
I don't know if then he'll answer. It's weird how there's a big gap. He'll ask a question and it's like it takes a long
Were
time.
you afraid?
probably because you're like observing it. Like you have to observe it before you can.
I was thinking the same thing. You're accessing something that's not basically
It's like I'm trying to find something
Did they show you
specific.
anything?
right,
Like something specific that will stand
Yeah.
out.
like a slower computer.
It is scary now that I'm thinking about it.
Anyway, that's
I think it's scary. I mean,
I
it's,
don't know,
kinda-
It's like thinking about it now. It's like going back into that moment. It's like I was like just being back in that moment. I know I was relaxed and all that
But you're seeing it from the outside
on the outside.
at you,
Yeah.
right? Right.
But it's like being in that moment and being with people that non-human things, and I wasn't scared. It's like
Mm.
you know. Now I know if I got abducted, I'm like, what the hell? Who are you?
I think that's
I'll start questioning them. They question me, you know.
Yeah.
But being in that moment, I just let them do whatever they want to do to me.
Most accounts seem scary, and then that usually whoever's abducting them kind of calms them down. I don't think I've heard where any of them were like, yeah, it was cool. He came through the wall, and then we went to the ship, and most of them are. I mean,
Yeah.
like the Travis Walton one, he was terrified. And the movie made it a little more crazier than because want to
Yeah.
hollowify it, but
artistic license.
I've heard his own words on it,
I heard
and
they're doing a new one that's going to be more accurate.
hopefully, yeah, good, yeah. I lived up there, and there was
Overgard?
Sholo, Heber, Snowflake, Overgard. Funny because I was there for 6 years, never saw one thing, and I looked all the time. It was all the things I ever saw were down here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I lived pretty close to.
The abduction thing, it's a weird one. It's always been, I've always thought about it. I don't think it ever happened to me personally.
Most people said that.
I do have a weird reaction to when I see things like in a TV show or something.
Right.
But I don't remember anything. I don't have any experiences or anything that happened. But it's fascinating to me, just because it goes back so far. If you can interpret it back from back in times where, biblical times or whatever, where people are talking about, succubuses and all that stuff and things that come into your bedroom at night or whatever, and then it's just because in their frame of reference they can only access what they know. They don't know that it's an alien or whatever it is, kind of thing. But it's a phenomenon that this is one of the things that bothers me about this entire thing, and it never gets talked about ever. People talk about it, right? Investigators can talk about it, but never at any point did it come up during that.
The interview or something.
Yeah, the congressional hearing, right?
Oh, right. Well,
because even if it's not real, something's going on, and this is like it's too bad that John Mack died as early as he did, because I think he lent a lot of credence to it, being a Harvard head of Harvard psychiatry. Yep. But I think a lot of his thing was just the fact that there's something happening. We need to study it. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's what it is,
right?
But there's something we need to look into,
even if it's psychological.
Yeah, and he was just like, just destroyed from doing that.
Yep.
Because there's something to it. I mean, there's just too many people that have had those experiences.
Right.
And that's one of the things that just don't come up enough. I know there's no physical evidence or whatever, but the hypnosis and all those things that you see. I mean, it's just there's a lot of stuff out there. It's kind of crazy.
I think if a lot of people go under hypnosis, they'll be more in shock.
I agree.
I think
so
people
too.
Than, like you said, I used to get those that feeling, that weird feeling. Because I used to watch a Blue Book, for example, and it's like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw something that would just stand out. I was like, you know what?
A visceral kind of reaction.
It's like why is that calling my attention?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that kind of similar? And I'll get that feeling, and now I understand.
Yeah.
I understand that maybe now I haven't been in the ship, but I was in the ship before.
Yeah.
Where that was a past life.
Well, past life, yeah.
Well, maybe.
In a past life, maybe where.
Do you know what part of your past life that happened?
No,
or no?
Maybe
they never pinned it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like, I want to know more. I really want to know more and more, especially after this.
We need more of the story. I think we
right.
can get him to ask.
Can you? I mean, it doesn't have to be good. Can you sketch what they look like? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's like the Anunnaki, like their longer heads, like just like that.
But you said they had like kind of an octopus kind of.
Yeah, because the head. You know how earlier we were watching.
Oh, you mean the bulbous?
Yeah,
kind
the
of...
bulb. Is this round hair, like the ones we were seeing earlier, like just tall grays are just basically just round hair, right? But the head here in the back, the skull is it's longer.
Yeah.
Instead of being round and oval,
it's like the Mayans did.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Right, the same shape.
They would take their children, they would wrap.
Yep, and squeeze it backwards
too, or some deformity or something weird.
Yeah, they were doing that to emulate the
star people.
The star people from eons ago, that they wanted to be like them.
So more like this shape. How it kind of but in the back part, and that's just basically an octopus. So, but that kind of towards the back, which is kind of leads right. I don't know if you get to see that.
It's like the grays are just basically round and oval, but theirs is like instead of being round and over, it kind of comes back.
And they weren't communicating with you at all, or
no, they were not saying nothing. It's like I was like
they weren't touching you, or they were just laying there.
But I was just impressed that I was tied down and they were around me. There was one that I kind of remember now a little bit. It's like there was it's like everything's clear, glass clear, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they're walking on something inside, and then they just go this way, like went into the ship around that, like that, walking. But they're just staring at you, and you're staring at them, and I'm over here looking at the fishes.
Were you like standing up, or were you laying down?
We laying down, and I'm just looking at the fishes. I said tons of fishes. I just seen tons of fishes going over, and then it's like,
that's right, because you're like in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, it's like, what am I doing here?
And you sure it was a craft? Like it wasn't like an under.
Because I remember it was like an island when I was going somewhere in an island, and out of nowhere I just saw a ship, and then it was just boom. I was inside the ship, and I remember I was inside the ship, and then we just hit water.
Really?
Just hit water, and then right after we hit water, it was just like a clear glass. So this
Did your ears pop or nothing?
Nothing.
No, nothing.
And I was tied down, and it's like it's clear glass now. So I was like, so if it was all dark, and then when you can see all these like things, and now it's all clear. That's why I was looking at the fishes. And I was like, and then looking at them. And I remember there was 4 of them. They were standing right next to me. And then it's like, and I'm looking at them. I'm looking at the fishes, and now I was just.
I'm gonna ask the
You know?
elephant in the room question. Were you clothed or naked?
No,
You don't remember.
I remember.
You don't remember.
You didn't ask. You
Yeah,
didn't ask
I
if you were
remember
that
that.
time.
Right, I would have.
Maybe that was.
Yeah, you don't
question
know.
though. I mean, it gives you kind of a
Right.
frame of reference. of
Yeah.
what-
Or he should have asked when they took you back. Did they take you back when you kept? How did they take?
Were you light skinned or dark skinned?
I was light skinned. I was light skinned.
Light skinned, really?
Wow, great go.
Is that because of my other cousins? I was from Spain and I'm from Virginia. You know what? After that, for the past 2 days, I've been just seeing a bunch of cars. Virginia.
No, really?
Virginia.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you
Wow.
do you remember hearing
I was
anything?
like, Dad, look at Virginia license plate. I'm like, I haven't told my son, right? I was like,
You remember hearing anything?
here, no sound.
No sound,
No sound.
no smell, just
No.
visual.
Just visual.
Yeah, maybe you should ask him if you could go back.
I would delve back into that more and try to get more details out of it. Right. Did you remember their height? Were they tall? Were they,
They were
short?
tall.
They were tall. They were tall, and they were grayish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That's
later
so
on they asked
cool.
if he felt threatened.
I said no.
No.
Threatened or
But I did. I said, I know I'm not lying, but I could bring my friends in here.
Wait a minute.
They're
You said you've seen me before.
yeah. He looks familiar. Tell me he looks familiar.
So between my 7 and 8 year, I don't remember anything as a kid. So maybe you saw me then. I was on the ship too. I was in the other room.
But yeah, I personally think that there's a lot of people
I think so too.
that have been, brought up in their ship, that in their other lives, not now. Because now it's like, back in the days, I'm pretty sure aliens were able, or whatever they are called,
Yeah.
they were able to do more things than what they can now,
Right.
It's like now most people are just playing video games. Like, we don't want to pull that one out.
Yeah.
We want
He's gonna
some-
lose his high score.
Yeah. It's like they want, maybe there's something they're doing to us.
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of people
Yeah.
disappearing,
Right.
and in this day and age, it's a lot harder to go missing. There's a couple 100,000 in the U.S. alone. There's a couple 100,000 people a year that go missing. Most of them come back. Most of them are found. They're kids that have wandered off.
You know where they're mostly going missing to?
Where?
State parks. And Alaska. State parks. They will never tell you how many people go missing in state parks. I was reading a great book on true crime, and it said state parks are the highest number of where people go missing.
That's what that missing 411 talks about.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. He's
Yeah.
he's a good one to
Yeah.
watch if you don't know, if you ever
Yeah,
watched
but
it.
out of the 200,000, there's 1 to 2% that are never solved.
Yep.
But the,
Year in and year out.
yeah, and the Rangers, just like if you were to ask somebody in the military, are just as weird about shit. If you
Yes.
ask them about Bigfoot, if you ask them about
Yep.
paranormal activity, UFOs,
Missing.
they have a script.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff that they just can't talk
Are they
about.
missing because they're like plucked out of the sky, or are they missing because they went off trail and died?
Either, sometimes there's nothing left, so it could be. I mean, if something ate me and ate all my clothes or somehow buried, sure.
Usually
They don't know.
Yeah, but you'd think if you got eaten, they would find a pile of dung
Right.
with clothes in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. On a few
There's
ones,
something happening.
the missing one, this kid's clothes were folded, and I don't think they ever found him. No, they never found him. His clothes were folded next to where they thought he would have been. So what's up with that? A bear? If a bear can fold clothes, I need one as a nanny. Yeah, I need one as a nanny. But right, you would think they'd find. In a lot of cases, there's nothing. It's just like they went.
Yeah, and sometimes they find. Sometimes if they do find them, they're like ridiculously far away.
Yep.
Like they could not
Yes.
have gotten from
Yes.
this point to that point
Yep.
within
Yeah,
that amount of
walking,
time. Yeah,
yeah.
there's just no, like somebody would have to either take them there or brought them back in a different location or something.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Why don't they take all the homeless? Why don't they just pick up all the homeless? You know,
Would you take the homeless?
They're not the prime.
do them a favor. You know, study it.
That's how they're getting here. They're bringing them back.
They're not the prime cut.
Yeah, they're not the prime cut.
Just put it as bait.
You know?
Yeah,
UFO bait. Or
the
Bigfoot
date,
bait.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
E5.
right. It's like,
I'm nothing against them, right? I don't got nothing against
No,
them.
me
but,
neither, but-
No, maybe they could do them a favor. Maybe
Yeah.
you know what?
clean them up,
Yeah.
Clean them up. There's
Yeah.
no drugs. I'm pretty sure.
Quit taking people that pay taxes and shit.
change their mind, and
Yeah.
you know, they can fit right back in. But
There's no drugs out there in a different planet. I'm pretty sure they do then, right? You know?
yeah, I agree. I think a lot more people have been abducted and don't realize it. I'm pretty sure. Growing up, when I first saw my first item, like I said, a couple years before that, you know, as I go on and get older, I think something happened. I have no clue what it was. I don't know.
I remember telling you, I know something happened to me. Remember I told you?
Yeah.
It's like I want to do that past life regression because I know something happened to me.
Yeah.
It just felt it. You feel it. I felt it inside.
I remember you saying that to me
And
too.
I feel it. That something happened to me, and then it's like, and then there was a time when I told him where I was like, I used to work from 6 to 6 in the afternoon, 6 in the morning.
Dude.
And then there was a
Dark
night that
to
I
dark.
was like, you know what, I'm going to go to sleep. So I went to sleep. I remember my body leaving my soul leaving my body. It's like,
Out of body life?
even that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know there's something that, it wasn't me doing it by myself. You know?
You said to me one time too, it was weird, like it was just random. You said, I want to meet a female alien.
Is that what he said?
But he wasn't joking, and I'm
Right.
like, yeah, and you kind of just had a quick conversation.
Well, you really have to consider.
I got that immediately.
But the context wasn't like, you know, like a, it's just, I don't know, it's random.
I bet they can do some out of the world stuff to you too. I just want to throw that out there.
No, but it's just like, it's well, maybe they're not toxic.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, maybe one of the ones you saw was female. I don't know.
Earth women are toxic. Is that what we're
No,
saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
Watch out, this is going
What I'm
worldwide.
saying,
It is.
What I'm saying is that it's just that there has to be something. Even in the Bible, right? It says that there was people from the sky
Yeah.
mating with humans,
Yeah.
and they created the big dudes, the big giants.
Yeah. But,
So Nephilims.
Nephilims. Yeah.
So it's in the Bible. It's even in the Bible. So why
Native Skype. That's star people.
Star people.
Brent, you ready to do your regression therapy? Are you in there?
Yeah.
I'll help you.
So both of you guys are gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
I'll help you guys if you guys want to do it. We'll talk about it. If you want to do it, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I've been reading a book called The Convoluted Universe.
It sounds familiar.
And it's about a hypnotherapist that she learned techniques from her husband, who was trained by the I don't know if it was in the Air Force or the Navy. And so she just died just a couple years ago.
Right.
And she was really good about getting people to go deep. And she has a whole book that basically it's transcriptions of her hypnosis that she's done, her sessions. And the more I read it, the more I want to have it done.
This guy, I mean, I'm gonna try it too, but from what I witnessed in Elder's experience, I would definitely, definitely say that this guy.
Well, she claims that there's kind of like two levels that you can be put under, and I think that's kind of like what you kind of experienced when you did it on stage,
Right.
where you're under, but your subconscious is still kind of controlling you.
Definitely. Yep.
She says that from her techniques and what she learned from her husband, is that she can break that subconscious barrier, and
Right.
she can go really deep. And back to, I mean, this is where people start talking different languages and stuff.
Right.
You know?
I have heard of that.
Yeah.
I have heard of that.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
This guy says I think he can even talk to dead relatives. And
Yeah.
wow.
Medium.
He can go to that. That's his next level. You could break through. I believe, unless I'm hallucinating. I
No,
think
he's
he said
right.
that.
He said that.
If you want to talk to somebody.
Yeah, so when you have it done again on your next session.
I did it. I requested in the afternoon just for you.
Oh, okay.
So you can
Sounds
go.
good. I would like you or someone to ask him to ask you to, for him not to talk to your subconscious, but to talk to your inner soul or your inner being, and see if it can kind of break that subconscious barrier, and go deep.
Did you have a subconscious? Did you realize you were there talking?
No. I feel like I was.
They may have already. This is
I
something
feel-
deeper.
To be honest, it's scary now. I'm thinking about it's like.
Do you remember anything you had said? I'm sure you remember parts.
I remember parts of it, but it was not.
But not all of it.
It's not like I'm doing it. It's like I'm. It's not
It's
like,
coming out of you.
It's not like it's coming out of me, and it's not like I'm forcing myself, or it's not like
You're not thinking of.
I'm not thinking. It's just like it just comes out natural. It's like this. Just like our souls, right? Like my hands, I can feel my hands, right?
Right.
But I know there's a soul in me. I know that soul in me. I can't feel it, but it's like, it's that soul in there that talks that's been in the past, that's been with me for a long time.
And that's what she talks about in the book. So I had a question to myself all along in life is, when do you get your soul? I mean, is your soul developed as you get older and you become conscious of your soul? Or does your soul come into your body when you're born? Where does your soul come from? And do aliens have souls? So
the thing I would think is you need to find a definition, a really good definition of what soul is. Is it just my spirit and I leave? Or maybe it's more than that.
Or just consciousness.
Which
I think is universal. I don't
Right.
think it's,
Right. I mean, that's the only thing left after everything is gone. Is consciousness.
Well, there's a story that the aliens, they admire us for some of the things they admire us and study is that we have a soul and they don't.
Right.
oh,
That's a good
interesting.
question to ask, though, because
Yeah.
then maybe it will open up a definition of what it really is.
Yeah.
And how we can perceive it. I kind of agree with Korey that I think it's more consciousness. But that doesn't mean it's not, real, that it's not, many years old. So, yeah.
And not only that, right? But this is what I did, right? But I took a friend of mine a few years, 2 years back, because I know a guy that does ayahuasca.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys know.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's that?
Really? Oh, really?
It's like peyote, like
Peyote.
mushrooms in a way. It's like something similar to that.
The strongest.
Joe Rogan talks about it a lot.
Yep. Yeah.
My friend,
You can reach a.
he was in jail. Don't get me wrong. He was just in his war. He was going through the wars. He was just in his
A bad place, huh?
Bad place, really bad place. And he's like, "Hey man, I was recommended to do ayahuasca, right?" And I was like, "I know somebody, but I was like, I'm afraid to do it."
Yeah, because
I
I heard bad stories and good
I'm
stories.
afraid. I was like, I'm afraid to
Right.
do it because I've done bad things, I was like, and then he's like, I'll do it. So it's like, okay, so I called my friend up. It's like, yeah, bring him in. He paid him $500. I took him in, and I'm not gonna lie, this guy just gave him a drink. He lay in his stomach, and then he just fell asleep, and then he was talking in different languages.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, ayahuasca he's right. Rogan has a few, I think a couple of
What is
really
it?
good.
Is it hypnosis? Or what is it?
No, it's. How
No,
would you
it's
explain it?
just like a psychedelic.
Yep.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Like acid, but I
Yeah.
think a
People
lot
go-
stronger.
People go to South America just to
Peyote.
do that.
Really?
Because, yeah.
It's more natural, though, isn't it? It's not like acid where
Yeah,
it's more like
it's-
peyote
yeah.
or
Yeah,
mescaline.
it's something that they.
It's a root.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
flower.
that they
It's
extract from
natural.
something, but
Yep.
but not only that, but the microdosing is a big one right now.
Right.
They do a microdosing where you can, and they're using it to treat like all kinds of things, and
Yeah. Mental
I
health
believe
problems.
something into that. I mean, Joe Rogan, what he usually talks about is the stoned ape theory. I don't know if you ever heard that, where he basically talks about, or what that says is that our ancestors, utilized these these things, whatever, ayahuasca, peyote,
Yeah.
and that was what kind of leapfrogged our consciousness ahead. So why we're
Yep.
different than animals and all
Right.
that type of stuff. It's just one of the theories that are out there. But I do think I do think that when you do that, just like when you're in like a meditative state, I think that you are accessing something that you can't just access, normally, just
Right.
walking around and being, normal or whatever.
No.
So,
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
So what did it do to your friend?
So
Is he-
my friend, after that, he owns a big trucking company. He has a trucking school. And I asked him, hey man, what happened? He's like, I got to see my grandpa, dude. He's like, when you heard me crying, cause I saw him crying, right? And I was like, and I was trying to ask him, are you okay? And then I looked at him. He's like, when you were looking at me, I smiled at you, trying to tell you that it was fine, that I was fine. And you seem worried that you always, because I felt like when I see him going through all this, I just want to grab him and take him with me.
What do you think it was?
Because I was like,
hurt
you know
him,
what,
right, right.
he's going through something. He's like, I smiled at you, telling you that I was okay. And he's like, so it's like, I would just go back to my past. I was able to cure my past with my dad, with my mom. I gave him a big hug. I forgave him. He's like, and then he actually mentioned that he met aliens.
Mhm.
And told
A lot of people have said
and
that.
they told him, hey, you know what? Do this. You will have a big company. And they told him what to do. So now
Success.
he has that.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to tell you.
Now
that's
that
not
being
talking about
said, they're not all positive
It's
experiences.
positive.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it's
So-
like, but they're not all positive because that means if you've done something bad,
Mhm.
it'll come back to you.
Yeah.
And that will bite you. That's the thing. So if you've done anything bad, you haven't done anything bad to nobody, then like
I'm
him,
all good.
like him, then it'll be just positive things.
Mhm.
But if for example, if you've done things that you kill multiple people and this and that, then that's things that you shouldn't go, or other things, that bad things you could do,
Yeah.
right? But he was just a guy that was just his
You
ex-wife
said you
put him
never
in
did
jail.
it.
I'm afraid. I like just seeing him there. It's like
Too many bad things.
seeing him. No, I haven't told anybody. But I used to find out.
I would be afraid to do it just because I'm just so.
I think it's seeing him and laying down there crying and then throwing up and just seeing his body. Sometimes he would go like this, and
It's a spiritual
it's
experience.
like a spiritual
Yeah.
experience. Like
Yeah.
his body, he was like,
I don't deal with change well, so I don't know if I would do it because I don't want to change my mental perception. That's why I think I wouldn't do. I've done acid before, and it was sometimes a good experience, and other times it was a horrific experience. So knowing that ayahuasca is just as strong, if not stronger than that, I'm not down.
no, but
No.
he came out. When he came out, he was like, dude, he's like, I feel 50 pounds. When I took him back home, because we drove from Placerville all the way to South Sac.
Oh wait, it makes you lose weight. I'm
He's
down.
like, he's like,
No,
I
I'm kidding.
feel, he's like, I feel like 50 to 60 pounds less than what I'm weighing right now.
Just because of all the weight that.
He's like, I just feel light. He's like,
Yeah.
you don't
And-
believe me? I just feel
I think mental
really
stress.
I
light.
usually have a guide with
Yeah.
that. Like you don't just go and take.
Right,
it.
right,
No,
right.
what
That's true.
I know the guy. He sends
Yeah.
me emails every month. He has one.
Mhm.
He's a guy. He basically has like, if you want to do it yourself, you can, but he has classes of 12 people. He lays everybody down. You lay down, but it is a scary thing.
Yeah.
It is a scary thing.
Yeah.
If you see people going through it, it's scary.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it looks
It
horrific.
looks
Yeah.
demonic in a way,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
not. When they come out of it, people come. Some of them have sickness, and they come out without that
Mm-hmm.
for some reason.
We should
Other
get
people
back to
don't.
it.
Same thing with the hypnosis guy. He had cancer. Remember he said
Yeah.
he had cancer too. He didn't take. Imagine.
Yeah.
I don't know that the hypnosis cured his cancer, though. I think it was just helped him cope with whatever he.
No, he has the book. I gave him the book. Yeah.
He has the book.
Yeah, how he cured his cancer.
Oh, he cured it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read about 3/4 of it.
Yeah. So
Well,
he's
there is
good.
miracles, so miracles do
It's
happen.
a lot
at
of it
times.
is a lot of the book covers just having a mental positive attitude.
Right, PMA.
Yeah.
So yeah, with the ayahuasca thing, it's just that it's another way of figuring out. I'm
Yeah.
afraid. I'm not gonna lie. I want to do it too.
Yeah.
I want to do it too, right? But
You've gotten to that point now.
But
Yeah,
it's like,
I
can
would.
talk
I
about
don't think
it,
I'm ready for that
experience,
yet.
okay?
I do.
But the only thing that sucks is like you can only do water for like a whole week.
Oh, wow.
Water and certain foods.
Oh man, I'm
You have
never
to
gonna make
fast
it.
So you have to fast for about a week.
Water and vodka.
What? And I can't do that.
I don't think he's a vodka in there.
You can do it for a week.
No coffee, no candy.
That's like
torturing.
Really? You can't go 1 week to get enlightenment?
Or hell.
I mean,
vodka's kind of like water. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I was just to say, like you know, I never did. I didn't acid. We're still filming, but I did shrooms back in high school and then like in college or whatever, and it was weird because you could, like you said, it's just you could be
a great,
totally good.
Yep.
And then things would just go to shit real quick.
Yep, real quick.
Yeah, so
I've never done that. So what's that feeling like?
it's very similar to I would say like. Yeah,
I think it's less.
I don't think it's as strong.
It's not as strong.
Yeah, makes you sicker than a dog.
Yeah, and
mix it in the milkshake.
But did you
mostly
did you get to see things? What is it? Do you get to see things?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I talked to the wall. There was bugs everywhere. Everything was moving. He was SpongeBob. You were, the squirrel. Yeah, it's completely like mind. It's very mental.
I was at a Pink
I never
Floyd
wanted to
laser show in Seattle.
That's why I took a Pink Floyd too.
The laser show.
Yeah.
And I was fine. Like I'm watching it and I was cool. And then my roommate all of a sudden just starts screaming like bloody murder. Just like, and I'm just like trying not to freak out. And then everybody else is freaking out. And I'm just like, this isn't happening. This isn't happening.
It's good to have somebody that you can trust and know, and they can talk you down. So it's kind of like ayahuasca. Whereas, you got a close friend, you're like, dude, no, this isn't a building. You're not going to dive off. You're not Superman. Just relax and calm. So if you have people around you to calm, it's when you're at a party and like this guy wants to be an ass, all of a sudden it can turn bad. So you know what I mean? You got to have a positive area around you, and then it can be pretty much good.
Yeah.
You can't have bad trips even in a good situation, but those were far likely.
Definitely. Just if you're do it with a guy that knows what they're doing, because they'll talk you off the ledge and all that.
Yep.
Yeah, we were just being stupid.
Probably just like ayahuasca would do
the guy actually he closes the door. He locks the doors. Like nobody's leaving.
How long did ayahuasca last?
It lasted from it was from like 6 to. I think we left there like around 11:30. We were supposed to.
So acid is a good 12-hour trip because it's at the back when I took it, it had strychnine in it, which is like it speeds everything. It stays in
poison.
Right, which is not enough to kill you, but it for me it was like a 12-hour trip.
What did you get from it though? Did you get anything good from it or no?
I took it a lot.
Musicians are all like.
That's why. So it did. It helped me musically. I would listen to other people's music and twist it into what I thought it should sound like. So it did help me musically. It really did. Yeah.
So there's always something positive. Even
yes.
Not always.
I did go to jail on it too. That was the last time I took it.
Yeah.
Because we were in Berkeley. Me and my buddy were we were on acid, and a cop drove by, and all of a sudden I thought, they're after us. So I pulled my shirt off, and I started running across the park. And of course the cop's like, hey, why that chunky guy just pull his shirt off, run across the park? And of course they got it. They got me, then they got him, and that was the last time they did it. So he's right. It isn't always good. But we're in a park in Berkeley, and how the hell are we going to drive back? 12-hour trip.
This is a real my name is Matt moment.
Yes, yeah. We're gonna stop recording right now.
Okay, but look, if you go back, the Egyptians they used some kind of drugs too. Mayans,
peyote, mescaline,
Aztecs, all those native.
Yeah. The Druids.
What's DMT?
The Vikings.
Didn't matter
Yes.
where. Yeah, they all had something.
Yeah. That's that stoned ape theory. It's kind of like every culture, civilization had something that, and I think all this stuff's related.
I agree.
You could take take near-death experience, remote viewing, UFOs. I think all of that, Bigfoot. I think it's all.
I would agree.
Yep. I don't think it's different. I think it's all just different things that are occurring in the same, whatever simulation or whatever we live in. But I think all those things, because a near-death experience is a transformational thing.
Right.
People come back from that the same way like your friend did, came out and they're like, because they get shown something, and whether it's real or not, but they come back and they completely change their lives.
Yeah.
They don't live in fear all the time because that death isn't the end.
It's the end.
Yeah, and then
Just be young.
there's aspects of Bigfoot that are just paranormal.
Yep.
Like there's a good show on that Expedition Bigfoot.
Yes.
They got the best technology, and you could literally see these things running 1 minute
Yep.
under a drone,
Gone.
and then it's just gone. And this is an 8-foot, 500-pound
Thunderous.
creature.
Right.
That just, it just vanishes.
They said it sounds like a
Crazy.
tank rolling through and they're watching trees go down, and then
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah. And
Where'd it go?
Footprints. It just disappeared out of nowhere.
Yep.
It's crazy.
You hear great accounts. There's one podcast called Sasquatch Chronicles with Wes, and he's got some great, mostly hunters, people that are like, I've never told this to anybody, because if I tell this to my buddies, they're going to think I'm, crazy or in drugs, and he tells some amazing stories. And again, they're not making any money. He really doesn't make money. Why were they telling these stories? You don't even know who half the people are.
And it's weird that everybody, or at least a lot of people that seem to encounter them.
Yes.
It's an emotional thing.
It is.
Like they get emotional when they talk about it.
Some people start crying or
Yeah.
getting upset because it brings them back to what they remembered.
Yeah. It's
So-
crazy. It's weird.
Yeah.
Just like
It's
a
fascinating,
feeling,
though.
basically. It's more like a encounter, like an emotionist or some kind
They're
of
reliving the moment.
reliving the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
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 Oh, and just seeing this thing is like there was one story where a hunter said he was hunting and he saw one through its scope and he was going to shoot it, and he said once he saw the face, he's like, that's
Couldn't.
a human face.
Yep.
He
Yep.
goes, I felt like I'd be committing murder if
Yep.
I shot this thing.
And most of them say that. They're like, as soon as I see the face, yeah, that's a human. It's something human in it. I can't shoot it. It's like shooting a person. And they don't. And then you hear other people who have shot it, taking a bullet right to the chest, falls down, he goes back, and it's gone. Like it took a bullet to the chest and basically ran away. So there is a strange part of this.
All right, well, let's at least wrap up the recorded portion of this.
All right.
So I can really start swearing. Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Alien Pro Podcast. We welcome comments, questions, or requests to alienpropodcast@gmail.com. Visit us on Facebook. Check out our website, alienprobe.net, Twitter and Instagram at alienprobepod, YouTube and Rumble, preferably Rumble because they don't have banners regarding my comments about COVID. Thank you,
There goes the
Korey,
banner.
Brent, Matt. I should have started with you. Sorry, I forgot about you at the beginning. And Elder. It's hard. You're getting thinner. I don't know.
You said your name.